In our airship, middle of the day now, blue skies, the sun is shining, count our blessings. It is grey and cold first thing. Well, here we all gathered for a contest which we thought was going to be a fine one, and whatever the result, a new name had to go on the NatWest Trophy. In spite of all their successes in the past decade, the big 60 over title is the one that has eluded Essex and Keith Fletcher. And as for Nottinghamshire, well, they've come here wanting to erase the memory of their 1982 Benson and Hedges final when they quite failed to do themselves justice. Let's look then at the two sides. And Nottinghamshire are at full strength. One would say two pretty handy batting sides, Essex perhaps with a better range of bowling, more experience, but one distinguished name is missing, alas for their hopes. Neil Foster went down with glandular fever yesterday, and young Ian Pont, who's come from the Nottinghamshire staff, younger brother of the batsman Keith, he comes in his place. So they tossed up, as I say, on a grey, cool morning. Clive Rice won the toss for Nottinghamshire, decided to put Essex into bat first, saying that if there was any damp about, and he thought there might be, like his bowlers, to have first touch of the juice. Keith Fletcher said he'd have done exactly the same thing. So here we go into the action. It's the fourth over, one for no wicket, a bye, and it's Kevin Cooper coming in to bowl at Graham Gooch.
The first runs off the bat have to be hurried. You have a sharp and alert Randall there. Look at that great shot there of Randall, on the move, on the prowl. He had a long way to go for it. But every time he picks the ball up, it's full of danger for the batsman. So this is Hardy facing. And a very confident shout turned down there by Barry Mayer.
Yes, a good shout this. I think probably the only thing that got him out of it was he was well forward and probably missing the leg stump, I think.
It's edged away wide of the slips and goes through for the first boundary of the day. Good delivery there from Cooper. Just moved sufficiently to find the outside edge. Handling into Gooch. And he's finally got him away through that short boundary, mid-wicket for 4. Cooper into Hardy. And he's got it through. Launched into that one. Good length ball again. Hit it on the up. And it's 4 runs to Hardy.
A great stroke this. You can see hitting him on top of the bounce. Really throwing the bat at it.
And 4 more.
.50 up for Essex, 52 for no wicket. Changing the bowling now. Cooper goes off after bowling 9 of his overs for 27. Clive Rice, the skipper, comes on. Have to be quick. Oh, that's the first one Martindale's fumbled. He's fielded very well up to that point. A little bit of pressure and perhaps an indifferent bounce.
Yes, definitely a chance here, I think. He didn't really go straight away. No, he should have picked that up quite comfortably. The bounce was quite nice.
broken 3, momentarily perhaps. That was a stroke of authority. Fifth bowler to start now. Andy Pick is coming in from pavilion end. Good shot. The man out at extra cover can cut it off. That's Eddie Hemmings, and nicely fielded, but Brian Hardy goes to 50. Very good performance.
Clive Rice once again. And another sprawling dive, all in vain. 26 overs, bringing 82 for Essex after they were put into bat here this morning. And Clive Rice won the toss. Still to be Andy Pick. And that's a big hit straight.
Marvellous strike this. Beautiful follow through.
Clive Rice doing the rounds. We've seen 5 quicker bowlers now, and it's the turn of Eddie Hemmings, the off spinner. So the 100 comes up. So they're accelerated through the second 50. First 50 coming off 107 balls. And 68 balls, that's all the second 50 are taken. Gooch goes down the wicket, just pushes it clear of the bowler, goes on to what looked a fairly inevitable 50 after he overcame those first few overs. The big 6, lovely straight 6 in fact from Gooch, from 3 4s in yet another 50. Saxon will be back in the attack in place of Pick. And another super shot.
Yes, and that for me was the stroke of the morning. Beautifully played, everything right, and the ball really beating everybody in the covers quite easily there.
Hemmings won't be pleased about that. That's twice Hardy has given himself a little room and put him away between point and cover.
And a beautiful shot this, making a little bit of room for himself. It wasn't a terribly good delivery, with only 3 fielders on the offside.
That's not good fielding for a start. There was the misfield, and then not quite enough urgency in the little short chase, and the ball being dropped in panic as he suddenly realised they were going for 3 where he should have been lucky to get 1. Beautifully bowled, and a definite miss by French.
Yes, no question about this. He saw him coming, and it was desperately difficult for French to take that.
Brian Hardy is on 99. Only 4 men previously have made centuries in the 60 overs final. Brian Hardy, a century for Essex against Nottinghamshire, and a standing ovation for him.
magnificent performance from Brian Hardy. He's completely outshone Graham Gooch, who has been in such great form. Superb start for Essex.
Clive Rice is the bowler. Oh, beautiful fielding. Hemmings coming across very, very quickly. Constant in perfect position. Good piece of umpiring that.
A magnificent piece of cricket, this. Quick single. Beautiful throw. And a dead heat.
Power and placement. Got himself in a position very quickly to hit that away over Robinson's head at rather deepish mid-off. 184 for naught. Hardy 101. 82 to Graham Gooch. It's Hemmings to Hardy. And that is a new record for 60 overs competition. Gooch and Hardy, who held the previous record of 184, have now added 185. It's in the air. Just short of Broad. That's twice in the last 2 overs. Ball has gone in the air out towards fielders who've not quite attacked it. They've let it bounce several yards in front of them. That's between Broad and Martindale. Now brought up at 200 for Essex. Has broken the partnership. Gooch out for 91, Hardy's 110 not out, and that will be welcome relief for Nottinghamshire supporters, not to mention the 11 players out in the centre as well.
A really tremendous innings, and he's put his side in the driving seat.
For Andy Pick.
And a good delivery from Andy Pick. In fact, that ball did move down the hill, but obviously Graham Gooch was looking to strike everything in this situation as it was. Run out. That's it. He's run out. Magnificent piece of fielding by Eddie Hemmings there. Went off the pad, square of the wicket, decided to take a run, and Hemmings hit correct. Superb piece of fielding. But there's the hero of the Essex innings, just walking out. Marvellous performance from Brian Hardy. Only 149 balls, 15 fours, terrific exhibition. Very much a front foot player, but he's really cashed in on it and played some marvellous strokes. Here we can see that again. Off the pad, square, a little bit of hesitation, and a marvellous throw. Just beating Brian Hardy by a short head.
It's a thick edge again from Ken McEwen, which will race away for 4. unbeaten Randall. Helped on its way by Pringle for 4. He moves on to 14, 233 for 2. Angled across the right-hander, just helped it on its way, well clear of Randall on the boundary. Sax will be to McEwen. Crossed that high in the air, should be taken, but it's blocked. Just broad the offender there. McEwen gets a life, and instead picks up 2 runs.
A bit of disagreement, I think, between the two fielders there. Broad eventually went for it, but I felt probably the other fielder should have gone for it, but really no excuses there, he should have caught.
Gave himself room, it was a great shot. Don't see that too often. It's the shortest boundary down there, but all the same, 6 into the mounts down there is a fine hit. Brings up 250. Takes McEwen on to 26. And Randall chases again. But nothing equal this time. Full bunker there, full toss. Batted away by McEwen through mid-wicket. This already proven an expensive over for Saxon. Hadley to Pringle. He's clattered that out wide of long on for 4 more. These are very, very useful runs indeed, coming from number 3, number 4 batsmen. They both moved up the order a little bit, coming in place of young Paul Pritchard. Just 4 balls remaining. McEwen really has got it away with some quite extraordinary strokes. Rice to Pringle. No more than a single off the last ball, a leg by indeed, which takes Essex on after their 60 overs to around 280 for the loss of only 2 wickets. With Kenny McEwen being undefeated on 46 and Derek Pringle on 29 at the close.
And the second highest score in a 60-over final left a formidable target for the side batting second to make, even on so good a batting pitch. Nottinghamshire managed to institute a holding action when they got those 2 openers out after that tremendous stand, but then McEwen and Pringle made 77 off 59 balls and 44 off the last 4 overs. Only 1 bowler successful, a pick, 1 for 36, and we thought that Kevin Cooper, not completing his stint of 12, may have suffered some small injury. So, Nottinghamshire needed 281 runs to win the NatWest Trophy of 60 overs at 4.69 and over. And we'll look now at their reply in the persons of Tim Robinson and Chris Board. We're joining the action in the 4th over. Slow start against good bowling, 1 or no wicket. And it's Ian Pont bowling to Robinson.
Nice shot from Robinson, straight down the ground. And Robinson's in trouble there. It looks as though he might have done a muscle. This is what happened to Tim Robinson when he pushed off, went for the single. It looks as though he's done something in his hip. It's a while since we've seen Chris Broad on television. Played against the West Indies last year and impressed everyone with his courage. And that was the type of stroke he played when last we saw him. Very strong player of his hip and a good driver as well. It's a good summer, 1,634 runs so far.
Chris Broad repeating the shot. They brought in 4 in the last over.
He's certainly very strong on the leg side, Chris Broad. He's played 3 beautiful shots through there so far in this innings. And again, beautifully timed and just using the pace of the ball and the way it goes.
And the first bowling change. John Lever coming off after bowling half his stint. 6 overs for 15. And Stuart Turner replacing him. Lovely piece of fielding. And, my word, if that hit would have been a very close call indeed for Chris Broad.
Yeah, I think there's no doubt he would have probably been out there if it hit, but marvellous piece of fielding, a very firm shot to mid-on. Beautiful stop in the left hand and turn and picking it up as it went round. And no sign of the batsman.
Gooch into Broad. Got that away sufficiently well to bring up the 54 knots. So 50 without loss, but it's into the 18th over here. Hoisted that well away as Robinson for 4. It's been some little time since we've had a 4. And that indeed is the first time that Tim Robinson has found the boundary in his innings of 28 to date. Best shot we've seen for a while there from Chris Broad, forced away, beautifully timed off the back foot for 4 runs.
This really was a very, very good shot indeed. He goes forward to start with and just rocks back and clips it away through mid-on.
Two fours for Chris Broad in this over, takes the Notts reply on to 75 and his personal contribution on to 42. Defensive field sorted out now by Pringle. Started off with a good maiden. Comes in now to Robinson. Thought to bowl it there with this field. Short outside the off stump. We're looking for 3 here. Clear through mid-wicket. The fielders after it. Just about to pull it up inside the ropes, but they'll be able to run them. And a long boundary out there, no problem in an all-run 4. Alan Lilio made that desperate dive. He's done so in the past, pulled off several remarkable catches, but not today. Fine deflection followed there by Robinson. Up she rolls in front of the pavilion for 4 more. And this is a magnificent reply by the Notts boys.
Yes, and the acceleration coming just at the right time.
That's 50 to Chris Broad. 100 comes up at the same time. This is a splendid partnership between these 2 test players. And that was a delightful little stroke by Chris Broad just angled the bat and deliberately had it run off the face down to the third man boundary. And 50 for Robinson. 50 from 105 balls faced. He's had more of the strike than Chris Broad. He's hit 3 boundaries and his 4th consecutive half-century this year in NatWest competition matches. The others were 98 not out against Warwickshire, 90 against Gloucestershire and 139 against Worcestershire in the semi-final.
That's a big slog. It's out there on the boundary and it's just cleared. 6 runs, touch and go. Pritchard was right underneath it, just cleared in by a foot or 2. Goes now to Robinson. Pont coming back, Broad's gone down, it could be in trouble, indeed he is, and he's out. And that, my word, was a serious error by Broad. Absolutely no chance there of a second run. Robinson knew it, Broad didn't. He set off, got himself stranded, and a fine throw coming in from young Ian Pont. Sees a breaking up of this opening partnership on 143. See it again. Robinson clipping it away through mid-wicket. Easy single, and that's all it ever was, as Pont has got the ball in his hand as they start to turn. At least only Broad starts to turn. And as you can see, never had a hold. Clive Rice, the captain, emerging at number 3. So it's creeped up a shade, 6.8 runs per over required now. That's short, and it's 4 runs. Robinson quickly onto it, keeping it down. 7.25 now. That's the pressure that's mounting the whole time on Notts. And he's gone. Robinson finally picked up by Hardy down at Deep Square Leg. For a fine knock, very valuable 80. It leaves Notts now 153 for 2 in the 43rd over. So we see that dismissal again. Robinson aiming for that short boundary again. Didn't just quite give it enough. Hardy, who's got a very safe pair of hands, pouches it down at Deep Square Leg.
More like it. And that's gone. Rice is gone. The pressure on the batsman has become intense, and Brian Hardy has taken another catch, and Essex are in the box seat. 173 for 3. Rice goes, Randall is the not-out batsman, and Essex applying more and more pressure. Then Pont comes on at the nursery end. Well, Richard Hadley bowled pretty well early on. He gave that no more than a little short-arm jab. Stage of the 2 innings, very close. That's the crucial wicket. Hadley needed to keep going. Ian Pont has struck. No wonder he's smiling. What a great moment in front of a capacity crowd at Lord's. That young man to take the wicket of the great Test all-rounder. rather than the experienced Test player, Grandall, using the wily campaigner John Lever. Gooch is out at deep cover point. No boundaries are coming here. The singles are coming, but they require 10 and over. So they must pick up a couple of boundaries just to get that run rate down.
Tall order for young Martindale there. Leave will be firing it in at pretty full length. Got them away in great style. Beautiful shot through extra cover. So they settle for 3. And nobody's missing a ball up there now. Not stressing room. Essex darted ahead, and Pringle and McEwen were throwing the bat there. 6 ahead at this stage. He's middled that skillfully. Found that gap on the leg side. It's 4 runs. Derek Randall asking the umpire there how many balls left in the over.
I'm afraid that's the area the ball's got to go to get some boundaries. This other side is very big indeed, and John Lever's bowling pretty straight, so he's got to get inside it, hit it on that leg side boundary, which is quite a bit smaller.
Lever in then to finish his spell with Randall on 49. His 50 is no trouble. So applause both for Randall and Lever. First for Randall's 50 coming up off only 48 balls. And John Lever finishing with 12 overs. A little bit of hammer on the last 2 or 3, but still 53 runs. Well, it really would be a miracle if not to manage 18 off this last over. But what a gallant fight they've made of it. Pringle to bowl it. They're going to come back for a second. Once again, they've run well. 16 they wanted off 5 balls. That's 4 of them. Picked his spot nicely as Derek Randall.
Randall making a lot of room. That ball was missing leg stump by 6 inches, and he's still got away square on the offside.
All wanted, 4 balls left. So it's got to be boundaries now. Well, Fletcher must be on the verge here of yet another trophy. So this game bound to go now to the last ball, and this is the 3rd time that will have happened since NatWest took over this competition.
Fletcher anyway with Derek Pringle. He's a bit of pressure on him there, and he's a no ball or something now, and the game really is alive.
6 wanted, 2 balls left. That's through again. I think he's picked 4 more up, indeed he has. And from nowhere, Randall has brought Notts to the verge of victory. What a tremendous performance this is by Derek Randall. 66 is made. And now there's some pressure on Essex. The pressure has been very much the way of Nottinghamshire for the last hour. And now the very last ball of the match, the pressure is reversed. One should point out that if they take a single off this ball to make the scores level, then Essex would win because they've lost fewer wickets. And Fletcher will take his time. We've seen this before.
Yes, what he's trying to do is to get all the deep fielders in so they can't get a 2, but he's still got Ian Pont right out at long on. There's certainly a 2 out to end. All the other deep fielders have come in about 10 yards. Derek Randall will be telling young Martindale that they've got to go for 2, whatever the situation, wherever the ball goes. So, what a marvellous finish to the cricket season now.
They've got to run 2. The last ball, Pringle to Randall. It's out. Would you believe it? If Derek Randall had walked inside and let that go by, it would have been a wide. So tremendous finish. Essex have scrambled home by a margin of 1 run after a fascinating NatWest Cup final. And Randall, who brought them so close to victory, was caught by Pritchard off the very last ball of the day. He went for 66, leaving Notts 279 for 5.
And there it is. Essex are winners by 1 run off the very last ball. A quite astonishing finish. And here's the final scorecard. 279 for 5. Robinson and Broad supplying the essential base for Nottinghamshire. Essex applying the break. And then who would have given any price, really, any genuine price for Nottinghamshire once Richard Hadley had been bowled by Pont. Tremendous effort by Randall and Martindale. And there are the bowling. And some very good bowling indeed by Essex. 2 for 43, Turner, and 1 for 68 from Derek Pringle, who bowled a very interesting last over. So when it was all over, everybody was mustered on the balcony, and Keith Fletcher stepped forward to a tremendous ovation to receive the NatWest Trophy. The best, I think, all-round captain in the business. Peter May ordained that Brian Hardy should be man of the match, and I don't think many would argue with that. He'd made a splendid 100 and he'd held 2 good catches. And then I was joined by the 2 captains on the balcony for a final chat. What a tremendous victory, marvellous day's cricket. It must have been a little bit too close for comfort.
Yes, it was a little bit too close, there's no doubt about it. The sad thing about one of those matches like that is that somebody had to lose. And I do feel very sorry for Clive on my left here. But there again, obviously there's got to be a loser, and thankfully it wasn't Essex.
What's your sound on it, Clive?
Well, Derek Randall played superbly at the end. We didn't really think we'd had a price until the last over. And Derek suddenly started to get it together. And he played superbly well. And as Fletcher was saying, it's a pity there has to be a loser because it was so close. It reminds me of last year's championship.
I think you must have been fairly relieved, Keith, when Richard Hadley was bowled by young Pont.
Yes, I was. Richard's one of the best strikers there is in the game, so I was delighted, especially young Pont getting him out, actually. I was pleased.
I don't really think many of neutral persuasion, I don't know what the feeling was in your dressing room, didn't give you too much of a chance once Richard had got out, and it was marvellous what they achieved, Derek and Martindale.
Derek and young Martindale played superbly. They were trying to get 11 runs and over for about 5 or 6 overs. And they managed to get it, and I think they needed 18 off the last over, and they got within an ace of doing it. Superb performance.
I didn't think you had the rub of the green early on, at the start of that tremendous opening stand. Did you this morning? Luck didn't really quite go with you, did it?
You make your own luck. Brian Hardy made it go his way. He scored very well indeed, played very well. Deserved to get the man of the match. It went his way, and okay, we might have had a bit of luck there and got one or two early wickets, but we didn't. It was a superb game of cricket. You couldn't wish to see better, I don't think.
I think a lot of people wondered whether you might make 300 when you were 200 for no wicket, Keith.
Well, it's slightly unfortunate that both players who were going well both got out together, so it meant that Kenny McEwen and Pring had to go in there from scratch, really. You know, it's nice if one of the others could have stopped there and gone with them, but still. 280, and for Notts to get that close is a magnificent effort.
It's interesting that how much time have you got for celebration, Keith? You're both on the road back to Nottingham, aren't you? And you play tomorrow in the John Player at Trent Bridge.
Yeah, we've got another game tomorrow.
Doesn't give you a lot of time to celebrate, Keith, does it?
No, we're going to go up tomorrow morning, actually. We're stopping in London tonight, then up to Nottingham tomorrow morning.
Might just have a modest jar or two.
Yes, mind you, tomorrow's very important for us as well.
It is indeed, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Because I don't need to tell you that you are the only captain with your team to have landed all 4 major titles. Well played.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
It's always another year. I gather Brian Hardy is lurking in the background. We must have a word with him. Brian, hang on to that. Why not? What a great day you've had, Brian. What is your slant on it?
Well, everything went for me, really.
What about that innings?
Well, it was a little bit difficult first thing in the morning, but we got away with it a little bit, and we got set in, and things became a lot easier.
What was the feeling out there in the field as Keith was marshalling everything with the wise old bird that he is, as they got closer and closer after Richard was out and Derek and Martindale were doing so well?
Well, we've been through it a few times. We've won one, we've lost 2 or 3. We'll just keep hoping.
Have a good night and good celebration. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
And I can think of at least one Australian, a famous Australian, who'll be interested and pleased by that result. Bordering on the mighty, I see it says, and we doff our communal hats. To Keith Fletcher and to Essex, and it's appropriate that we say good night from Lord's with a picture of Keith Fletcher. What a splendid captain, and what a day it's been for him and for his team. Good night from Lord's.